How about you be on your back the whole game too, you punk?
Yeah, but you gon' feel it, Cooley. I'm telling you, you gon' feel it.
I told you keep that camera ready, you might miss something.
We're going to be in your face and letting you know the real talk.
This is the NFL, which stands for not for long.
All right, guys, happy Championship Sunday. Whether you're in church or whether you're out doing something at the gym or getting a good walk in or having a mimosa or a Bloody Mary this morning, you're all going to watch, at least most of you, the NFC-AFC Championship weekend here later this afternoon. Now, I'm having a party here in Texas. Let me explain to you. Push the DVR button and tape these games. As if you're at a party or watching party with all your buddies and you're enjoying it, a shot of tequila or cold beer, and you're not going to appreciate what you're about to see. And for those coaches out there who are watching, or you trainers, or you young quarterbacks that are watching this video today or watching this game, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to hit that DVR button and tape this. Because when you're watching, there's a bunch of people around, you can't enjoy it like you're supposed to. And when I say enjoy it, you can't watch it like you're supposed to. And it'll be the best teaching video you have. Now, I'm fortunate and blessed enough to train quarterbacks all over the United States, from 6th grade all the way up to guys that are getting paid to do it. And this is why they all do it, to get to this opportunity to play, to be a step away and get ready to play in the Super Bowl in Houston in February. That's why we do it. That's why all my buddies are out there grinding, training. That's why I'm grinding, training. That's why I talk about it on radio or television, because we all want to be there. And if you're fortunate enough to have played and got to a top level, the only thing we ever wanted to do was win a ring or be in an opportunity to win a ring. It gets me choked up because that's why we do it. And for you guys that are watching this video, like I said, hit that DVR button. And then I want you to go back and watch these 4 quarterbacks, Brady, Rodgers, Roethlisberger, and Matt Ryan. And understand why this is the toughest position to teach, the toughest position to evaluate, and by far the toughest position in sports to play. Okay? And then you watch their mechanics, and I preach mechanics with all my quarterbacks. Footwork, study, film study, understanding coverage, keeping your eyes up, all those things that we could go through ad nauseum. And with my new teaching video that's going to come out, you'll get to see that. But when you watch it, go back and watch it when you're, like you would a Netflix show. Go back and watch the footwork and how that pinky toes to the target. Go watch the footwork and how quickly the ball comes out when they are based and balanced and loaded and the ball comes out. Go watch their timing when they're throwing people open. Even those who don't have a son or a daughter that plays or don't just watch for leisure, go back and watch. You like art? Well, Meryl Streep talked about art. I can tell you this is an art. You're about to watch 4 dudes and a bunch of other players. I'm focusing on the quarterback position now. You're about to watch 4 guys who are the Picasso and the Rembrandt, Pollock of their time. Okay, they can let it rip now. And I'm telling you, you watch why the difference between the first team and these 4 teams and the teams at the bottom of the heap, the difference in why they win. And the difference in why most people win championships or most people win games, the difference between number 1 and number 33 or 32, should I say, is a quarterback like these 4, about 3 or 4 extra players, and about 8 or 10 plays a game. And that's the truth. A quarterback, 3 or 4 players, and about 8 or 10 plays a game separate the best team from the worst team in the league. And you're about to watch and appreciate 4 of the best in the world at what they do. So think about your job, think about somebody else's job, and think about the 4 of the 5 or 6, 7 best in the world at what they do are going to get it on today in the AFC-NFC Championship game. And they're not doing it for a paycheck. You know what they're doing it for? A chance to wear a big-ass fat ring and go to the Super Bowl and represent, because we judge quarterbacks one way. Did you win when it mattered? We'll talk to you guys later this week. Enjoy your championship Sunday. DVR these games.
And welcome to the Not For Long Pro Football Show. We have our championship matchup set up. Noah Groninger, Clint Schweitzer, and I believe we have a special guest, Clint.
Yeah, we do. We're going to be bringing on Friday Night Light star Brad Leland, a.k.a. Buddy Garrity.
Yes.
You all know and love him from one of the great television dramas of all time. Going to be joining us to talk about his experience. He was actually at the Cowboys-Packers game last week. As we were at the Steelers-Chiefs game, we had big plans with Brad. We were going to meet Brad in Houston for if the Chiefs and Cowboys were to make it, our two favorite teams. It didn't happen, but he's going to be talking about his experience, going to be talking about who he thinks is going to win going forward and what his experience was like at AT&T Stadium for that game, and also the lasting impact of Friday Night Lights, one of the great television dramas of all time, like I said, and Brad's a great guest. He's going to be joining us here in a bit to talk about all that and much more. Of course, our season ended with a bitter thud at Arrowhead Stadium just a week ago. Hard to believe it's been a week.
It usually does. Not in Arrowhead Stadium, but a bitter thud is definitely correct. And the conversation, the narrative goes to Alex Smith. Will he be back? This is kind of a year that the Chiefs can get out from under that contract, to let go of him, trade him, whatever it may be. And a lot of people are on board with us that we did a little show about this called Same Old Situation back when we were the Outsiders podcast, and just talking about Alex Smith and saying, this is bad. We've made a horrible trade. It ended up being 2 second-round picks, and this was just a disaster for this organization. It was going to be kind of the same along the Matt Castle lines. It's been better than that by a little bit, but the end result is still the same.
Yeah, and Alex Smith is one of the more polarizing players in the National Football League, and when a situation like this happens, when an offense can't get going, and it's been an offense that's been stuck in neutral all season long, and against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was magnified. The team couldn't get up and down the field. Alex Smith, definitely a part of that. He threw only 15 touchdowns.
This offense has gotten worse over time instead of better? I'm sorry?
Which is unbelievable considering the talent level has raised so much. When Alex Smith first got here, there was no Travis Kelce, no Jeremy Maclin, no Tyreek Hill. So it's kind of it's unbelievable. And
yeah.
So the narrative, like you said, it's going to be not only do the Chiefs need to address other needs, as every NFL team does, but at this quarterback situation with a way out of Alex Smith's contract this year with I think only $7 million of a cap hit if he were to be released. I don't know. I think that it's hard to do, and the Chiefs have never made any sort of move to try to move up, draft a quarterback, try to get one of the who's going to be able to be traded for Romo, Drew Brees, and those are maybes.
Maybe Phillip Rivers. He's not happy
able to do
in LA.
anything. I just don't think there's anything you can do. I think they're stuck. What I feel is stuck in this situation, stuck with this regime, stuck with this team. Now Andy Reid's done a great job here over 40 wins in 4 years. That's very good in the NFL. What Chiefs fans want is more. When we left Arrowhead Stadium, you had that empty feeling, the kick to the gut.
Let's go Royals.
Oh, that's horrible. I want no part of that. But
no.
Leaving that stadium and feeling the same way you did after 95, after 97, after 03, after 2010, after last year going on the road and losing New England. This franchise has not been able to get over the hump. It's sad. That's where the Chiefs are right now. And you look at the teams left, great quarterbacks, MVP candidates, all of them, except maybe Ben Roethlisberger, and he's got 2 Super Bowls in his back pocket.
And 29 touchdowns this year. I mean, you're looking at it, you're like, can we get a Romo? Can we get a Breeze? Can we get a Rivers? It's nice to dream. It's nice to think about that. It's the offseason. You want to have a reason to smile and look forward to the next season. But it's not going to happen. We know the Chiefs. We know what they do. Alex Smith is going to be the quarterback, as much as it pains me to say that, as much as I want to dream and hope and talk about different scenarios where we could get one of these great quarterbacks. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Alex Smith. They may keep Nick Foles if they renegotiate a contract. He's up due $10 million. They're not going to pay that.
Right.
And so if they can renegotiate, they will. If not, maybe a 3rd to 5th round quarterback option that they bring in, move Tyler Bray to back up. I mean, this is just where the Chiefs are. This is what they've been. It's the same story since 1995. Ever since Joe Montana left, it's the same old. New faces, same result, same story, same movie. Seen it over and over and over again. One option out there as I think a 3rd-string quarterback for next year, possibly moving into a starter role in 2018. I mean, now follow me here. You're going to have a private investigator follow this guy around for 3 to 4 months. Sure, he's on the straight and narrow because he said he's given up drinking. Johnny Manziel. I'm talking about Johnny Manziel. If you have a private investigator come back, say, hey, I've seen this guy. He's not partying. He's not drinking. He's hired a quarterback coach. He's working out. He's working on his game. This guy's serious. Then you bring him in. And before you mention money, you say, you're not getting a signing bonus. It's not happening. You're going to earn everything. And I got rules for you. No more partying, Johnny Manziel.
Good luck with that.
That doesn't mean Vegas drinking a shot in between a stripper's boobs. That means if I see you at Chuck E. Cheese holding a balloon and a handful of tickets after killing it at skee ball, you're out gone. No parties. Nothing. If you're 1 second late to a meeting, you're fired. It's over. No tolerance. No tolerance, 0 tolerance policy for Johnny Manziel. And he's got to prove to me he can be a leader of men as well. If he doesn't do any of those things on my 5 million point checklist, you're gone. So that's my strategy to bringing Johnny Manziel in as a 3rd-string quarterback for the Chiefs.
Folks, a lot just came your way just in here on the Not For Long Pro Football Show, and that's what we do. We bring it hard, and we always do. I'll tell you what, unless you can get Dexter Morgan to come out and maybe follow Johnny Manziel around with a kill room ready.
Well, the private investigator's staying all year round. It's not just that 3 or 4 months. Johnny, we're not going to tell Johnny that. He's not going to know about it. But that private investigator's his whole career. Every day, every second.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get into our picks for the AFC and NFC championship games, but before we do, we want to go ahead and bring on our guest this week on the Not For Long Pro Football Show. It is Friday Night Light star Brad Leland. Brad, I know we had these high hopes of our Chiefs and our Cowboys meeting in Houston with you hooking it all up, all the VIPs. Brad, it didn't happen. It's very sad, but hey, you got to feel pretty good about where your Cowboys are heading, my man.
Oh yeah, it's really a great team, and you can't have more fun than we have this year. It came out of the blue, and they just played their hearts out right to the end. But I hate to tell you, buddy, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback. I think that performance that he gave the other day may be the best quarterback performance I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that pass he made at the end of the game to set up that field goal. I mean, Dallas battled back. This was a resurgence to this Dallas Cowboys team. I mean, what do you like going forward? You saw Aaron Rodgers firsthand. What do you think about the games going forward? Who do you think gets it done?
I am very impressed with the fact that he may be able to just, continue to rally the troops, and he may be that important. He was unflappable, and it was, in the stadium there's so many cameras and so many shots that you get to see on the screens there that you don't get to see on TV. And I was in the press box with the name dropping begins, but I love Brad Sham. He's been our announcer forever in Babe Laufenberg, and he'd do a great job with the game. And watching Aaron's face on a lot of these close-up cameras, I mean, he was like a little kid just having fun. He was winking at guys, even in the heat of battle near the end. He had a smile on his face. He looked so composed.
Absolutely.
And just, that guy, and he never missed. It was unbelievable. And so, as sad as it was great to see a great football game like that get to be there. That was the loudest also that I've ever experienced any Cowboy game in my entire life. I don't know if the truth is on those decibel level deals that they post there at the game, but at one point it was so loud, and I looked up and it's at 107, and then a few minutes later I looked there and it went up to 110 decibels.
Well, here in Kansas City, they have set the record, 142.2. Kansas City has the Guinness Book of World Records loudest stadium here in Kansas City, Brad, which is why we've got to get you here to Kansas City for some barbecue and a Chiefs game sometime. When are we going to do that?
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. I would love to be there for that. Is that actually the number they talk about?
That's it's in the books. 142 point. That's an outdoor stadium. That's insane. And so I was hoping our teams would meet, Brad. I had this vision in my mind of us convening at the Super Bowl in Houston. Of course, you hooking up all the VIPs like Buddy Garrity would have done back in the day, and doing it the right way.
Yeah. Well, maybe next year. Maybe.
Absolutely. Of all the cast members, of all the people from Scott Porter and all these guys, who Taylor Kitsch, who was the best? Who was football? Who was the most natural athlete? Who was the best football player actually naturally on the show?
Well, all of those guys were pretty good athletes. Gaius was very strong and athletic, although I don't think he had played a lot of sports. And if he had, I think he might have played some basketball. But Gaius was more into being an intellectual, and it was kind of interesting that he would be the star running back. But Scott had played sports, and Scott was a pretty good player. Of course, Taylor Kitsch is a great natural athlete. He had been a hockey player in Canada, and probably could have gone on and played pro hockey because he's just kind of got that sort of mentality, and he's a good enough hockey player that had he stayed with it, he probably would have played. So he was able to pick up football quickly, and he was a good player. Now, the most obvious and the funniest thing is the one who had actually played football and been on a state championship team here in Texas was Jesse Landry.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, he was a player, and he played for a very tiny little high school just outside of Waco. But he had experienced high school football, and he wasn't very fast, but he was a good player. He could throw and he could catch. He wasn't the fastest guy out there, but Kitch was fast, and Scott Porter could definitely throw. Now, I tell you, he's a strong and good player, but he had not played a lot as Saracen.
Sure.
Zach. But I would say the best athlete was probably Kitch, and then Porter had played a lot, and then Landry was a pretty natural, gifted talent in every way. He's a great guitar player. He's got a great singing voice, and he's an all-around talented guy. So that's kind of how that went as far as who was the best players.
Brad, I tell you what, you've just been so kind with your time, and we want to thank you for that. But before we let you go, we've got to get your Super Bowl picks. We have Patriots, Steelers, we have Packers, and of course we have this big game coming up here, Packers, Falcons. What do you see coming out of this? Who wins the Super Bowl? And we're going to hold you to the fire. We're going to hold this against you and put the spotlight on you, Brad Leland, when this all comes about.
Okay, all right, and it's only because they have to now, since they beat my beloved Cowboys. It just has to be the Packers. They have to win, and that'll lessen the blow just a little bit. And plus, I love Aaron. I think he deserves it. I'm a huge Brady fan, and I love great teams. All four of those teams I actually like, and I think, I've got lots of friends that are Steelers fans, even though. The Cowboys and the Steelers used to have a serious rivalry for all those years they beat us. But I think it's a tough call. I want the Packers to win it, but let's see. Who am I going to pick? That's a tough pick. I might go with Atlanta winning it.
Yep, it's in Atlanta. Game's in Atlanta at the Dome. Yeah, I could see it. That'd be something.
That's a tough pick. I'm just going to have to just go with Packers just because I want them to win.
Sure.
I want Aaron to win it. I think he deserves to have one. And my Pittsburgh buddies are going to be mad at me. And I got a couple of New England friends too that'll probably be mad at me. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I got to go Cheeseheads, man. I'm going to go with Cheeseheads.
There it is. Hey,
I love it.
Hey, Mark Wahlberg would be disappointed with you as well, as big of a Patriots fan he is. He's not going to be happy about that. So,
yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'll take him out on the golf course and beat him. He can hit it. He can hit it farther than I can, but I got some years on him on the golf course.
Absolutely, long and wrong, they say. Brad, thank you so much for calling in today. We cannot thank you enough. You've just been such a pleasure. Let's stay in touch. Again, we'll do it again. Well, let's not go 2 years this time. Maybe we'll get our teams to a Super Bowl and get met up that way. How's that sound?
Okay, Clint. You have a great day, buddy.
You betcha, Brad. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Brad talking about all the goings-on, talking about his Cowboys. Said it was the loudest he'd ever heard AT&T Stadium during that playoff game, and what a game it was.
Yeah.
He seems to like where the Cowboys are headed. Can't say I blame him. We tried to get our Chiefs and Cowboys to meet in Houston. It wasn't to be. He likes the Packers going forward.
How can you not with Aaron Rodgers playing out of his mind?
Talking about the legacy of Friday Night Lights, one of the great shows, my favorite show of all time, and Brad playing one of my favorite characters, and Buddy Garrity, I guess the only way to describe Buddy is kind of the sleazy booster for the Dillon High School Panthers on the show Friday Night Lights. And with that said, we go into our picks, starting with the NFC Championship game, as it will be first up on Sunday. The Green Bay Packers, red hot. No one as hot as Aaron Rodgers and these Packers heading to what could possibly be the final game ever played at the Georgia Dome.
Yes.
It will be the final game ever played at the Georgia Dome, actually. No matter what. Either way. So, Matt Ryan, MVP, hosting Aaron Rodgers, MVP, question mark.
Yeah.
Who do you like in this game? I'm gonna have to save mine because I'm deliberating in my head still. I've got to go to the 10th hour here.
I'll try and drag this out for you to give you more time to go through all the different numbers and stats, but I'm going to have to go with the Atlanta Falcons. I like Green Bay. I like what Aaron Rodgers is doing, but when you got question marks with Devontae Adams, you got question marks with Jordy Nelson out there at receiver, you definitely don't know what you're getting out of Ty Montgomery at the running back position. If you can bring people off the edge, the Cowboys kind of showed this as a blueprint. Bring people out, although it didn't work. Bring people off the edge and make Ty Montgomery try to block people and quarterback protect for Aaron Rodgers. That's a receiver back there trying to do that. He can't do it. And I like that offense going against the Packers' horrible defense. The Falcons' defense has risen up. They've been a little bit better down the stretch. So I like Atlanta, Matt Ryan, my MVP, to get it done.
Well, I've just been crunching some data while you were making your pick, and the math never lies. The pick is in. And I've got the Green Bay Packers going on the road, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers riding that hot arm. The throw he made against the Dallas Cowboys to get in a field goal range to win that game is just legendary. His play right now has been elevated to another level. There's no quarterback that can do what he does. I like the Green Bay Packers to go in and make another Super Bowl appearance here, going on the road and beating a very salty Atlanta team, a team that's getting better defensively. But this is going to be a shootout. It's going to be very similar to you go back to some of the shootouts you saw back, like Saints and Vikings back in the 2009 playoffs, Favre. I mean, it's just going to have one of those feels to it. Yeah. Where last team with it, maybe even Packers and Cardinals last year you saw in the divisional round. I think that's what you're going to see. I think it's going to be a really good game. I like the Packers.
Moving on to our AFC Championship matchup, we've got the mighty Steelers who took down our Chiefs with 6 field goals. The mighty Steelers against the New England Patriots. Tom Brady, everyone questioning that defense. Have they really played anyone? The best quarterback they've beaten is Andy Dalton. The best quarterback they played was Russell Wilson, and they lost to the Seahawks. They're going up against Big Ben, the Steelers team. Le'Veon Bell's playing out of his mind. Antonio Brown's got question marks with that locker room Facebook Live video. Can they get it done in Foxborough, in Gillette?
Yeah, I've got the Patriots in this game. I think when you put Tom, here's my equation. I talk about crunching some numbers, doing math. I'm pretty good at math. No, as not many people know this. Here's some math for you. Tom Brady plus Bill Belichick plus Gillette Stadium equals Patriots to the Super Bowl. They don't lose in these situations. The New England Patriots, 14-2 on the season. Tom Brady only losing 1 game this year. Their wins haven't come against the best competition, but the competition in the NFL was watered down this year. The Bradys are the class of the league. Brady and the Patriots, they're the class of this league. They have been for the past 16 years now. Yeah. They still are to this day, man. And I like New England winning this game by a touchdown.
My heart, I think both of our hearts, is with the Pittsburgh Steelers this game. We met Arthur Moats last weekend before the Chiefs game. We went behind enemy lines, went to the Steelers team hotel, met Arthur Moats, as you see here. But my head says 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick at home, playoffs going for 7 Super Bowls together. 5th Super Bowl ring for Tom Brady. I've got to do it. I got to pick the Patriots.
One for the
my heart wants one for Arthur Moats, but my head says be smart. I went kind of with my heart with the Seahawks against the Falcons, but I think I have to go with my head this time. Pick the Patriots. They're too good at home. Tom Brady's a legend, maybe the best ever to do it. Him and Joe Montana up there argued about 1-2, 2-1. Who is it? I don't know.
It's going to go a long way in determining that, and there it is. So we'll be back for our Super Bowl show here in a couple weeks. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here all season long on the Not For Long Pro Football Show. It's just been such a great time for us here, bringing you all of our NFL action all year long, and we're going to do it again next year. Yep. Thank you so much to Brad Leland for joining us on this show, and we're going to get back with you. Please subscribe, YouTube and iTunes. Hit us up at GASN Sports and our website.
There's been a little change, GASNsports.com. We're just going to streamline it along with our Twitter.
Wow, that's branding.
GreatAmericanSportsNetwork.com. That's just too long to type in. Just Great American Sports. Can't type out network. I get tired. That's too much to type. So GASNsports.com. Find us there.
My mind might be a little fuzzy, but all I can remember from all of this is you wanting Johnny Manziel to return to the NFL. I'm going to deal with this in my own time and sort of digest.
Take your time with it. There was a lot.
Got to digest it.
Go back and watch it several times. Get all my good information in there. 5 million checklists. He's got to check every one of them all along the way, or he's gone.
Johnny Football. Remember when he was called that?